ותיתן למלך 120 כיכר זהב ובשמים הרבה מאוד ואבן יקרה, לובה כבושם ההוא עוד לרוב אשר נתנה מלכת שבא למלך שלמה. Malkat Shva gave gifts to Shlomo Hamelech, including besamim that had never been here before. The Jewish historian of the end of Bayesheni times, Yosef ben Matityahu, or Josephus, writes that the bosim that was given here to Shlomo is the shemen afar Simon. On the hills of Gedi, off limits to the general population of visitors to the site, are the remains of a small building from the times of the Roman-Byzantine period, between the destruction of the second Beis HaMikdash and the Mishnah Talmud period. This strange structure, which today has no roof, apparently was almost like a vault. It had a rolling stone door that would lock into place and could only be opened from the inside. Inside is what looks almost like an ancient bathtub. It seems that the whole structure was meant to protect whatever liquid had been hidden away inside. In the same general area not far from Qumran, archaeologists found a small ball of dried out leaves that had been buried in the ground. Upon opening up the leaves, they found a little clay jug. If you go through all of the trouble protecting something so small, it was likely incredibly valuable. Inside, they found nothing. It apparently had been some kind of liquid that even in such small amounts was incredibly valuable, but with time had dried up and disappeared, leaving us to guess what it could have been. The town of Gedi had been plundered by the rebels hiding out on the not too far away Masada as they prepared for their last stand against the Romans. The Jewish defenders of Masada met their demise on top of the mountain, but the fate of the residents of this little town of Gedi is completely different. They were largely left alone. The Jewish community continued to live in that same place without being destroyed or uprooted throughout the Roman and Byzantine periods, from the times of the second Beis HaMikdash through the Mishnah Talmud period, and finally abandoned in the times of the Muslim conquest. Why did the Romans leave these Jewish people be? It could simply be that they didn't rebel against them. We do have other such examples, but it could also be something more. Perhaps this little community was worth much more to Rome if they continued just doing what they do best by Gedi than if they were uprooted and sent elsewhere. Could this be connected to the lost contents of that tiny jug and the mysterious vault up on the hills of Gedi? Perhaps. It seems that the local community knew the secret methods for extracting and producing an incredibly valuable perfume from the resin of the upper balsam plant known as afar Simon. Today in modern Hebrew, we call this tangy little orange fruit known as the persimmon, the afar Simon, but this is not the plant I'm referring to. The upper balsam, as far as we know, no longer exists. There are still some farmers around in the area who claim they may have rediscovered this ancient treasure of a plant. Can they trace it back to a place that will help us find the ancestral land of Malkat Shva? Would it still be sought after today if it could really be recreated? Is there any way of knowing if this really is the ancient plant and how the perfume was properly created? And finally, could it also be related to a creepy desert curse embedded in the exquisite ancient Beit Knesset floor of Gedi? We may never know for sure, but the land of Israel preserved these little treasures of our past nonetheless, saved them for many centuries so that we can come back and try to decipher them anew.